extrajudicial murder is wrong, both legally and morally. Full stop. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the state should be murdering anybody. Full stop. Especially murdering people who have never had their day in court. We don't even know if you're going to charge this person with anything, and so you damn sure shouldn't be murdering them. It does not matter that this person wasn't, handing out kittens every Tuesday. Like I don't give a shit. Like the state should not be murdering them. And racism and classism layers upon that because whenever you see people the media demonizes, it disproportionately black people, especially black people from lower socioeconomic standings, right? Like the young girl in Columbus, I believe she was like in a foster home, and so I mean we all know the issues that go on with children in foster homes, and it's alleged she had a knife, and they're like I don't need to see this young lady's detention records or if she got into it with some teachers before or whatever the case may have been. We should not be murdering. The state should not be murdering people.
Yeah.
So I don't care what this part. The state shouldn't murder guilty people. We haven't even determined if they're guilty, but if we determine that they're guilty of some egregious crime, the state shouldn't be murdering them. It definitely should not be. It shouldn't be murdering them at all. I'm not. I think it's definitely crazy, but it damn sure shouldn't be murdering people before we even determine that. And what they have done prior in their lives doesn't matter at all.
Right.
It has no impact on that. So I don't even know why these are things that, well, I know why, but like it's just asinine that these things are even discussed.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like hard because that's like such strong rhetoric that is used. They're like, oh, people have been like, oh, well, George Floyd was a father, he was a partner. And it frustrates me every time someone's like, well, that was someone's daughter. I don't care if they emerged from the ocean out of sea foam like Aphrodite. That doesn't like demean the fact that they're a person. I don't care that that's somebody's mother, that that's somebody's wife. Like, even if that is a person who sits alone all day and plays video games in their room, their life matters. Like,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be any, like, trying. And again, like, like Ron was saying, I know why those relationships have to be pushed. I know why you need to try to say, like, oh, she's a good girl, like, it never was supposed to happen. But it's like, I don't care. And I don't care that that was a counterfeit bill. I don't care that he had like other problems with drugs. Like, that does not matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have any basis of evidence for why that man was slaughtered that way. And it's just like, we shouldn't need to have any of those other circumstances. We shouldn't need to link him to his now fatherless daughter in order for people to be like, I feel bad.
Yeah.
That's
There is, and especially for black folks and women, there's a humanization that occurs, and that humanization only has to occur with elements that connect. And generally, it's like a lot of conservatives when you hear them talk about a woman being disrespected or killed or raped or whatever the case may be. Well, that's someone's women are to be revered. That's someone's daughter. I have a daughter, or that's someone's mother. I have a mother, and it's like, well, that person shouldn't be raped. That person shouldn't be sexually harassed. That person should be sexually assaulted. Full stop. I don't give a fuck about you having a daughter. I don't give a fuck about you having a mama. Whenever it's this black person that is murdered by the police, it's well, he was a kid, or he had a daughter, or he was someone. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He should not be killed by the police, right? And it goes down to the basis of the difference, right? Of like us just viewing people as humans, and mostly conservatives having to have some sort of connection with you to view your humanity, right? It's like they need to, because not everyone should be treated with humanity in their eyes. And so if you have these features that they value, then you have a right to humanity, versus just you being human gives you a right to humanity. And part of that humanity is not being slaughtered in the street. Part of their humanity is not being sexually harassed. Part of their humanity is not being exploited, just on the basis of you being human. But that isn't sufficient for a lot of people, and that's a tell of who they are and what they don't stand for, essentially.
Yeah, and even if we aren't arguing their psychotic, broken value system, it's like, okay, so you don't want to talk about systems and fixing those, but even like responding to this comment in chat, I even find, like, on an individualized basis, I mean, you know, like, what was the crime George Floyd committed? You know, a fucking counterfeit $20 bill. I mean, like, you know, none of it justified anything that happened to that man ever in any rational world. And, you know, using the thing about, you know, just almost every report I've read, thing I've watched, I'm like, there is a plausible way that this could have gone differently. Like, yes, you could make an argument for why it had to end in bloodshed, but there is a equally or often way more plausible way that it could have gone differently. And like, you know, the young lady in Ohio, I mean, you know, if you can't disarm a 15-year-old with a knife, like maybe you shouldn't be a police officer. Like, I mean, I feel good without any training in my odds. If a 15-year-old walked in on me with a knife, like, I could probably get myself out of that situation and probably do okay. I mean,
Well,
you
and,
know,
like,
police officer in body armor, like, come on, man. Like,
Right, but it's not even like an ableist argument. Like, I'm not saying that, like, okay, like Paul Blart Mall Cop couldn't take someone down, so he doesn't deserve to be a cop. Like, it's not an ableist argument.
yeah,
I think that as a police officer, you should be required and expected to have training in de-escalation and effective de-escalation. I don't want you to like disarm that 15-year-old girl through force. I want you to fucking talk to her. I want you to talk to her. I want you to communicate with her. And I want her to feel safe having those conversations with you. None of which are things that our police force is capable of achieving right now. Like, that's what I can't wrap my head around. Like, even if you can take someone down by like slamming them on the concrete, I also don't think that's acceptable. Like, any excessive use of force should be handled. And it's not, and again, like, it's not about me being a strong enough human and having good enough muscles to like beat the shit out of someone. It's about having communication, which is something that the police force doesn't invest in. Instead, it invests in tanks to protect themselves and like to use at their discretion. That's what that money's going towards.